Hi, welcome to Real Film Snobs. I'm Angela Yeager.
And I'm Brian Michael. Our first movie is Personal Shopper. This stars Kristen Stewart as a personal shopper who won't leave Paris quite just yet until she makes a connection with her twin brother. The twist, her twin brother has passed. This is Kristen Stewart's second film with Olivier Assayas, a French director, and I apologize to the France for mispronouncing his name if I did.
You're apologizing to France.
I'm apologizing to the whole country this time.
We have a lot of apologies.
So this is her second film. The first one was Clouds of Sils Maria, which we both really enjoyed. And I like this movie mostly because I didn't know what to expect. I was just, you're watching a film and so, we get to see her being a personal shopper and having some identity issues. And then we also get to see her trying to make connections with her brother, which I won't give anything away, but if things did happen, it was done well and tastefully without being over the top with tons of special effects. And then we also have her receiving text messages from an unknown person that's kind of terrorizing or also talking to her and opening things up, and it's a very interesting
Is it stalking?
film.
Is it something else?
Yeah, it's three things kind of melded together, and I don't say mashed together. It's done really well, and I did not know what to expect with this film.
Oh no!
But Kristen Stewart again surprises. I'm not surprised so much anymore. When we were talking about what films to review, this is one I wanted to see because I've really enjoyed the past several films of her that I've seen. She's gotten out of the weird acting things that she did. She's really kind of shaken off the vampire stuff and now is an actual actress, and I'm really enjoying watching her work. And she's very good in this.
Yeah, she's an interesting presence in a film. She's got a cadence, and there are certain parts where she's just sort of doing nothing. She's just walking around the house, and I couldn't keep my eyes off of her. I kind of thought, and the film is, if you tried to pitch this to a Hollywood person, I just can't imagine, because like you said, it's a weird mishmash of things.
Yeah.
He makes it work, but it has some tonal shifts that are very odd. And then the texting thing, which starts almost like halfway through the movie. I mean, it's pretty late in. When that started, I thought, I have no idea where this movie is going. I literally, at the end, aliens could have arrived and pulled her away in a spaceship, and I wouldn't have been surprised. That's how you cannot expect where this movie is going.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see, and for a film snob like us, who see a lot of movies that are sort of by a template where you can almost connect the dots yourself, it's a nice enjoyment to think halfway through the movie, this could go anywhere. I have no idea. And just be pleasantly surprised as it goes on. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the ghost story part of it, kind of combined with sort of some, what I think he's getting at with some sort of like maybe critiques, or if not critiques, kind of looking at, technology. Her character is very alone. She's often just on her phone.
Correct.
She doesn't interact with a lot of people. She has a weird job that she is really sort of against her values in a way.
Yeah.
Because she's this like slouchy dresser who's always wearing like sweatshirts and jeans. And then she shops for this celebrity who we don't know what she does, but she's famous for something.
Yeah. And apparently, I'm assuming she's the same size. That's what she gets to try things on and stuff. But then she also gets in trouble when she tries things on, or if she wears them. And,
or she's.
And then she does that to kind of rebel and
how
to
do you
put
get a
things
job
on
like
there.
that? That's what I want to know. How does she? Because she's obviously not selling it with her own appearance in the film.
You could be Rachel on Friends. It's one of those type of jobs where it's like there's 10 people
in the world that do.
Well, I mean, in some big department stores, obviously like in New York or LA,
but
have
this
people who
particular
do
character,
this.
I wondered how she got into it, because it's not because she's obviously into fashion.
Maybe personal assistants would be doing so in the shopping, but whichever. It's one of those Hollywood jobs that's like there's so few people that actually have this that it lights up people's ideas and wanting to. I want to be a personal shopper. Yeah, sure,
and the job isn't really essential to, despite the title of the movie being Personal Shopper, it's not really that important to the movie. It's not like it's a movie about celebrity or an expose on this kind of work or anything. It's a little bit almost in the background of her going about really trying to find and connect with her brother. So I think that's more of the arc of story. So I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it 3.5 stars.
I gave it 3 stars. I did
stars.
enjoy it.
Only 3 for you.
Yeah, but I will certainly say that if Murray is watching, I know our friend Murray, who's a big Kristen Stewart fan, he really, really enjoyed this film. There are some scenes that I immediately thought of him when it happened. but I know how much he likes her, and I know that whenever we critique her and I make fun of her or whatever,
he gets defensive.
He gets very defensive. So.
Yeah, he probably did like it. I haven't talked to him about it.
Yeah, I enjoy her performance. I enjoyed the movie. I think she's really grown as an actress, which is kind of nice to see, because I think she started out really strong and then kind of got stuck in this loop of just kind of doing ticks and such that didn't really work. Or I don't think the work was challenging enough. And now she's back into some more challenging work, and she's really taking the lead.
Certain
and I love the fact that
Kelly Reichardt,
she's working with some really cool directors, and she's not just going for big Hollywood movies. I think that Huntsman movie was the last big Hollywood movie.
Very much the opposite. The women's like certain women, the budget was probably like 2 pairs of shoes on Twilight or something. Although I thought Twilight was super huge budget, but anyway. Yeah. I'm enjoying her European work, her foray into European cinema.
Yeah. Her and Woody Allen.
Now she just has to learn French. Because we're in all these French movies and everyone's speaking English around her, which I thought was funny.
Oh, I love that.
With her.
It's fine. I don't mind reading a lot. Hence the film show. So our next movie is The Salesman. Oh boy, Angela and I heard about this movie. What? November, December, and then we had to wait. Here it is. It's the end of April to finally get to see this movie.
It took a while.
It takes a while, for it to get to Salem, but it's one of those films they show, late in the year for Oscar contention, and then when it's the best, when it's nominated for Best Foreign Film, it always takes. I mean, we won't see all 5 of those films until maybe June or something. It always takes them a long time, but this is one that we really wanted to see. Here I go, and I got to try to say Asghar Farhid. Who also did A Separation, which is an amazing film that I gave 3.5 stars to and regret. About Ellie, which we both really enjoyed in the past, which we actually don't think we reviewed on the show.
We didn't? Because I saw it.
I don't think we did, because I don't think that's the one
up.
of his I don't think I've seen, but my memory's not so good. So this is about an Iranian couple who are actually in a production of Death of a Salesman. They have to move into a new apartment due to some damage to their previous one. And while in the new apartment, the wife is attacked. They find out some information about the previous owner of this apartment, or who lived in there, and this kind of starts to drive, I shouldn't say drive them apart, but they both have different ideas of what they want to do and how they want to handle things.
Right.
And this is just really what he does so well. Something happens, and it's not something small, it's usually something, but it can also be very personal. A divorce, this attack that happens to her.
Like someone disappearing, like in
someone
About
disappearing in About Ellie.
Yeah.
And then you see how people kind of de-thread or pull together or pull apart, and what works and how strong they are in the situation. It's fascinating.
This is like the element of character studies in a way,
If he could never really do, if they ever gave him a comic book movie, they would have to have a second unit director to do all of the acting, but it would be fantastic, or do all the action, because there would be some great interpersonal dialogue and with the different people.
Please don't say. I hope he never does a comic book.
I just don't see him in a Hollywood film, sadly, that would do it, as independent films, obviously. But I do really enjoy the worlds that he's created, and they certainly seem to interlock. I wouldn't be surprised to see people, walking in the background from their other films, which I would totally geek out over. Please do that.
And speaking of Murray, I was talking with him, and we were both wishing, because it's been like years since I've read or seen a production of Death of a Salesman, and I felt like knowing the play, again, it's been a long time, so would there be even more layers to the movie, because I feel like there was some crossover there with the themes, but I didn't catch all of it. The whole idea of like pride and shame and boundaries, because it is in Iran, and the fact that the wife, I don't want to give anything away. I'm trying not to do a spoiler here, but the fact that what happens to her, I think in some places would have maybe just been like a, oops, sorry, or might not have been as traumatic, perhaps. Well, maybe unless you saw something different than I seen, but I was thinking something different happened to her at the beginning than what you find out towards the end.
Yes.
But the husband, it's so shameful to him what has happened, and he becomes sort of obsessed with the idea, and he can't let it go.
Yeah, it's
More
shameful.
so than
also,
her.
just the fact that he also, I would say, as a man, that you want to be protective. You're typically the protector, and so to have failed, that's really, really, really hard. And so that's what I always love about his films, that they always have these people who have their role, so to speak, and that's been damaged or hurt, or they weren't there for the other person, and it pulls them apart, or it's just fascinating.
And you have all these other people too. There's the couple, sort of like with The Separation at the core, But then there's these other people, the actors and the production, they're kind of circling around, the other neighbors that live in the complex, some of whom, you know, kind of came to her rescue when things happened, and their kind of perceptions and interactions with them, and are they a little, you know, and so he gets into all of that, and it's just fascinating. I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. For a movie that just essentially involves people talking for 2+ hours, I was riveted. I mean, and the actors are all phenomenal. I'm pretty sure the man who's in this was in some of his other films. I felt like he looked really familiar, but really, I'm giving it 4 stars.
Yes.
You are too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's an easy one.
Okay.
No. I messed up
don't
once.
Make the separation, because that was on my top 10 list.
Oh, I know. And I ended up seeing like 2 other times after that, and it was like, oh boy, it happens.
Well, it's a slow. What's the word I'm thinking of? You know, slow
boil, slow burn,
slow burn, something. You know,
slow drying paint.
It's one of those that I think you appreciate as time goes on more and you watch them. Because they don't hit you over the head, his films. Yeah. Anyway, we have a clip for our next movie, and take a look. Okay, you saw a clip for our next movie, which is Moana, and this is the Disney movie about a young daughter of a chief who goes on an adventure to reverse a curse and save her island, and she needs the help of a man. No, he's a demigod. A demigod. Sorry, he's not a man. I was looking at you trying to think of the right word. She needs the help of a man who's not a man, a demigod.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say so bad. She needed the help of a man. It happens.
A demigod.
Yeah.
And
Same thing.
Is voiced by Dwayne Johnson, i.e. The Rock, and he has tattoos that talk and are animated, which is a clever little bit in the movie. And the movie features, of course, music, and it's very memorable. It was nominated for an Oscar. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I thought the animation in this film was some of the best I've seen Disney non-Pixar in a while.
Yeah.
Long time.
Hair and water are really, really tough to do, and there's a lot of hair and there's a lot of water in this movie. It is impressive. Every time someone goes in the water and came out, I just watched, because you could see the water splash on them, you could see the water drain off of them.
Impressive.
You could see the hair and the wind. But also just the
color palette, the greens and the blue and the brightness and vibrancy of the colors, the palette they were using, and there's a couple sequences where they do some old school animation, if you remember the sequences where it looks, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm calling it old school, but you know, more traditional animation. It's got in some parts almost more of a psychedelic look to it. So I really enjoyed the different palettes of animation they were working with. It was, to me, more visually interesting than something like Frozen.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, and this is kind of our little catch up on 2016, because
I forgot to mention
we watched so many of those movies to make sure if we could do our top 10 list. And then it's like, well, we need to review them on the show because we might as well.
Right.
And
well, it's out on video now.
I really enjoyed this film. It was a big success. It was a Thanksgiving film, and Disney, of course, was really happy about that. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It wasn't one of those movies where I watched like Frozen and was just like, oh, really? And then it made a huge ton of money. I'm like, why did that movie make $429 million? I don't what $1 billion?
Girls want to be fairy tale
princesses. I do not get it. Well, I understand that, but I didn't get it with that movie. This one, I really enjoyed it because I liked her. She was kind of down to earth. She kind of did her own thing. Her parents, they weren't too restrictive. The demigod makes a joke at one point in time that you're a princess. Well, you've got a sidekick and you've got a, you've got a skirt. And you're trying to save your village or do whichever. And
she's like, no, I'm not. I'm the future chief. And I like that spin on it, too.
Yes.
She's not a princess. That she's going to be the chief of her village.
And I love the fact that instead of the cute little pig, it's the chicken that clucks. And they got Annie Tudyk, who's one of my favorite actors, to do the voice of the chicken. He's done several Disney movies lately, and they brought him in just to do the chicken noises. Not actually record chicken noises, they made him do chicken noises, which was absolutely hilarious. I did enjoy it, where they kept constantly trying to do that. And I loved how the ocean was constantly helping her, too, and bringing her back and fighting him.
Kept plopping her on the boat.
That.
That was funny. Nice comedic touches.
And I did enjoy the ending. There's the huge battle, which, when you get right to the big surprise, the big, unveiling, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I know what this is. Ha-ha. But it had me, I wasn't guessing. I wasn't trying to figure it out. I was entertained as we went. So even though if you thought the ending was kind of maybe by the numbers, I didn't see it because I was thoroughly enjoyed it as we went along.
Oh, yeah,
really
I saw
did.
the ending coming. But
I
yeah,
thought it was just
fun.
so much fun. And I loved the look of all of the characters because it was something different. It was Polynesian characters. You know, it wasn't your traditional skinny white girls. And that, I really enjoyed that.
No, and I did
enjoy
that too, that they went with a different culture and they tried to, give some homage to that, which is really nice. Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And we have to give a special shout out to Salem's own Dave Metzger, who did the orchestration and all the arrangements on the musical score for this movie. So Dave Metzger works on a lot of films, and he's worked with Disney quite a bit, particularly with Mark Mancini, who did the score to this movie. But Dave Metzger is one of Salem's, doing Salem proud out there.
Stars.
Yeah, exactly.
So this was directed by Ron Clements, Don Hall, and John Musker. And this was, The Princess and the Frog, Treasure Planet, which I really enjoyed. And then
You're
Hercules,
the one person who liked Treasure Planet,
Aladdin,
right?
and a little movie called The Little Mermaid. I mean, it's
they
pretty
directed
impressive.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I could totally see that. I really enjoyed it.
Another water-themed movie.
But I mean, really, honestly, the water and the hair in this movie is just
Well,
awesome
I thought Princess and the Frog was kind of underrated too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to our next movie, which is, what is this? Her Fresh Picks, I believe. Yes, it's 2017 movie, so that would be right. And it is I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. Right, be one of the longer titles of the year. And after her film is robbed, a woman played by Melanie Lynskey, an actress I love, and her eccentric neighbor, played by Elijah Wood, set out to find the thieves and teach society about manners. Or she puts it, how not to be, she uses a different word, but I'll say jerks. So this film was directed by Macon Blair, who was not directed the movie Blue Ruin, but was the actor in it.
Yes.
But it has a little bit of a Blue Ruin type feel for those who know that movie or saw Green Room, which was filmed here in Oregon from last year, in that it's very dark and very violent. It's much more of a comedy than either
This
of
was
those.
more of a black comedy,
Yes,
and it just
yes.
kind of the circumstances where, the person goes in to do something and they kind of fall into the next thing, that kind of domino effects, and it just kind of keeps happening and things kind of fall around them.
Yes.
And there are a couple, though, that were just a little too far-fetched, but at the point in time you're just kind of like, meh, let's just see where it goes with it, and I don't mind that. And I really enjoyed the comedy in this movie. Elijah Wood comes in, and I know
with
that
his
character.
nunchucks. As soon as you see the nunchucks, you started laughing.
If you live in Salem long enough, you know this character. And boy, I really did enjoy watching him up on screen and just, have a whole lot of fun up there. It's a smart movie. It's a fun movie. It's a well-made film. And I know it did really well at Sundance. And I know that, Scott was kind of
he was
our
surprised
correspondent.
that it was
surprised.
the big hit at Sundance. That it won the jury prize and the audience award prize.
Yeah.
So it was the favorite of the, the critics, jury, as well as the audience. And I could see why you'd be surprised, because it is a black comedy, and which is one of the harder genres to pull off. There's some weird tonal shifts in this movie. I think they pull it off until the end, where it goes from, there's some really gruesome, violent stuff that's pretty over the top, and then it switches right back into satire or comedy again, and it goes back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, well, some of the violence is funny, and then there's a couple of them that just kind of happen. But I didn't mind like some of the guns misfiring and having the problems with the guns, because that made sense, because we had already the setup with those. Some of those
it
guns
made sense in
and
the
those
story.
situations. I did enjoy that.
It's a pretty pessimistic movie as well. Like it's not but that kind of goes the theme of the movie, of course, because she's trying to rid the world of jerks, or wishing that people, and she sort of becomes kind of jerky as it goes on.
It's kind of how she
turns into it. So it's kind of fun in that way. But no, I enjoyed it. I'm giving it 3 stars.
I'll give it 3.5.
You're giving it 3.5.
Yeah, it was darn near perfect. There was just a couple I just kind of went,
it wasn't quite there.
Pushing
for me,
just a little too far, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's not up there with like the greatest black comedies, but it's definitely worth checking out. And
it's available streaming, so if you've got the services, certainly it's been letting you know. And definitely check it out when you have time, because I really think
90 minutes, but it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea like a lot of black comedy. It's just sort of like it's your thing or it's not, or you're going to go, why is this funny? This is awful.
Yeah, the first 30 minutes don't get you going, and then you're not going to
like it. You're not going to. You got to fall into the groove of something like this. So.
And what was the actress's name?
Melanie Lynskey.
Yeah, see, I remember her from Heavenly Creatures, but I had to remember what she had done since. And I've seen her in lots of things, and I remember her character, but she's
been great in quite a few movies. She does a lot of indie movies, and she's just sort of a reliably great independent actress, and she often plays kind of these kind of dour characters, a little bit sort of depressed or something, and I enjoy her in those roles, and she's just an interesting actress to watch, I think. So yeah, I enjoy seeing her on screen.
Okay, so we'll move on to his distinguished classics. That's the list I put together. And this one is a Sam Peckinpah movie. A movie about dudes, men, guys, no broads, no chicks. Ride the High Country.
No broads, no chicks. There is one, actually.
There is one. Well, yeah. Didn't she have fun? So Ride the High Country. This stars Randolph Scott, who's just one of my favorite, old classic film actors. Joel McCrea, who's also a lot of fun. They both play, excuse me, old-time friends who've come together to partner and bring some money in for the bank that have from the mines, because there's a lot of mining going on and they're bringing the money in, but the money has been getting stolen, so they're going up there to protect it. But maybe there'll be a double cross. Bum, bum, bum. And I like the fact that if there is a double cross, it's spoken of right at the beginning. So we have that tension right at the beginning.
Yeah, we know
waiting for it to
their
happen.
intentions, yeah.
And so, of course, it's a Sam Peckinpah movie. It's well made. The first half of it really felt like a studio picture. He was a gun for hire, and he really was. They wanted Bud Buttiker to do the film, but he was off in Mexico with, bulls. And truly. And so they get to Sam Peckinpah. Yeah, that's a good second stringer there. And to come in. And he, I felt the first half really did feel some of the dialogue is fantastic, and then some of the other dialogue is just bad, and it kind of depends on who the actor is, and it kind of depends on the moment. So the first half just kind of felt a little uneven,
clunky, yeah.
And then it kind of really starts to smooth out, and it really gets good.
Well, the second half feels like a Peckinpah movie involving the woman and her marriage and all
Marriott
that.
Hartley, who
yes.
we would know her from the Polaroid commercials with Rockford Files, James Garner. And an actress that's always had an old soul. Even when she's young in this movie, she just feels like a mature woman. And her character just doesn't make very good decisions, and she has to be rescued several times. And but I do love the gunfights in this movie. That's what makes it really interesting. I do like the double cross that happens. I do like how things are thought out and played out. The gunfight, no surprise, there's a big gunfight at the end.
It's
a really, really cool, especially
yeah.
when he comes riding in, firing away. I love all of that.
Well, and this is Peckinpah only his second film, so this is before he became famous
really
for
good.
Films like The Wild Bunch
Yeah.
and other classic films. So really early in his career. Interestingly enough, it was Randolph Scott's last film. This is the last film he did before
he said,
retired.
I'm done.
Yeah,
I love my performance. I will never be able to do it again. He'd been paying for his own films. He was a successful actor. When the parts dried up, he paid for his own productions and got things going.
So yeah, he just stopped. But one of the interesting things about this movie, even though it wasn't a big hit at the time when it came out, is it's now considered a classic, in part because of Peckinpah and people seeing it, things. But it's 1962, so it's before you're seeing a lot of the revisionist westerns that you saw in the 70s by people like Robert Altman and others, and Peckinpah himself really in the later 60s with Wild Bunch. But it has this mix, like you mentioned. I think that's that thing you're talking about, how it's clunky at the beginning, and then it has a mix of things that feel like a traditional old 40s, 50s Western. Yeah. But then you have these really dark, twisted stuff, like the brothers that come in, and these kind of like minor guys who come in, and the marriage and the weird stuff that happens in the what should we call it?
Brothel.
Brothel. Thank you.
Yeah.
The weird stuff.
Get married in a brothel.
All of that feels like very much revisionist Western, and also the fact that this company is extracting these resources and people are risking their lives for the company, which brings in sort of like the whole, Lost West part of it, and the structure of the West going away, which is stuff that Altman and others
totally
explore
what
a
I
lot
got.
more.
You're right. I'm glad I was going to say something about that, but I thought I'd let you talk about that as well.
About the corporation. Well, they're going up there. It's not their money that they're going up to protect. It's this company, and the company wants to hire guys to protect their money, knowing that the guys might get shot protecting this money. But
protecting thousands of dollars for dollars a day, $10
right, exactly.
or so
So they're
a
being
day.
exploited, and that's sort of like part of the
Well,
new West. But
are
it's
they
more of a
being exploited?
revisionist thing. You didn't see that in the old John Wayne movies, with the companies coming in and being bad. It was usually. So I'm just saying it's an interesting mix of those two. It's like on that line between the late 60s, 70s. And so I enjoyed that aspect of it. So definitely for a fan of the genre, I would say, I'm giving it 3.5 stars.
Yeah, that's what I'm giving it as well. Well, if you're a Peckinpah fan, if you love, Westerns, which...
Yeah, if you're just trying to make your way through most of his movies.
Yeah, and he didn't do that many. And I love seeing Warren Oates, because as soon as I saw him, I recognized Warren Oates, and I was like, wait, is that Warren Oates? And of course, I look it up, and of course, Bring Me the Head.
I didn't
yes, he was one of the brothers.
Oh.
And Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia is just one of my favorite Peckinpah movies. I almost want to say it's his best film. But, The Wild Bunch is, but it is such a cool movie, and no one has seen it. It's just one of those classic 70s films. I don't know.
I've seen it, so we should review it if we haven't.
It's just one of those 70s films that no one saw, and it's just this fantastic little gem. And
Peckinpah wasn't for everybody.
Very interesting film. It's the only film he had Final Cut on. It was just
of all of his, he didn't have Final Cut on Wild Bunch.
Oh. No, he did not. That was a huge. That's epic.
I didn't know that. No. You'll have to tell me about that.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Did they change the ending? The studio?
All I know is that Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, that was the only one that he had Final Cut on.
And of course, it was a huge bomb. So then the studio was like, no more for you, Mr. Peckinpah.
No more Final Cut for you. About semis.
From now on, we put the happy endings on your movie.
I've never seen Convoy.
I haven't either.
I got around to seeing that one.
Yeah, we'll make it through all the Peckinpah movies.
Pops up every once in a while on Hulu or something like that. I think I've seen. I don't know. Haven't we not seen all of it? He didn't make that many movies.
I think there might be a couple in there that I haven't
seen. So the rodeo one with Steve McQueen.
I haven't seen that one. So you've probably seen all of them. Maybe I haven't.
Maybe I have. I don't know. Whichever. So let's see. We're coming at the end of the episode. A big yellow sheet of paper. We both can recommend a personal shopper. Angela a little bit more than me. We both can highly recommend The Salesman. So go out and catch that. Find it. We both can recommend Moana. What did you give Moana? 3.5? Yeah, 3.5.
Okay.
And then I don't feel at home in this world anymore. She gave 3. I gave 3.5. So it was kind of split the way. And then we both gave Ride the High Country to 3.5 as well.
So one 4-star movie.
So
Salesman.
1 4-star movie, and it's early in the year. It's my second. No, it's my third.
It's your third. You said.
My third. Yes, it's my third.
Second.
Your second. We're keeping track. I'm winning. Always. So certainly we want to let you know to like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can listen to us on KMUZ. And, of course, you can watch us on realfilms.com or on this fantastic cable station that you're watching us now. We'd also like to thank our wonderful, hardworking crew, who sometimes I call staff. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And certainly we want to thank you for watching. And, as always, have a great day and great movies.